Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is D-Man Gaming here, and I wanted to talk about my most anticipated games of 2023, as there are quite a few games coming out next year and quite a few that I am really excited for. So let's just get right into one at a time, and I'm going to talk about them a bit. So the first game I'm going to talk about on this list will be Hogwarts Legacy. I feel like I'm going to kind of go in the order of the games releasing in a way. But anyways, Hogwarts Legacy is a game that I've been looking forward to for a couple years now, ever since it was announced. But it's also a new Harry Potter game, one that actually has a lot of potential to be something incredible. Like, we have waited years for a new Harry Potter game that was actually really good, you know, unlike the mobile games, unlike stuff that people have played in the past, such as the movie games. When I was a kid, I used to sit there on the GameCube or the PlayStation 2 playing the movie games like Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire. I used to play the heck out of the Harry Potter movie games when I was a kid. For some weird reason, I really enjoyed them. I don't know if I would really enjoy them as much these days, but when I was a kid, when I was little, like, I loved playing the Harry Potter movie games. And this new game is everything that a Harry Potter fan has wanted in a Harry Potter game. And it has the potential to be game of the year, even, dare I say, or at least one of the games of the year. It probably might not be my personal game of the year, but some people, it definitely, I can see it being their #1 game of next year, because you choose your what class you want to be in. You have different classes you go to. You know, you got the different, like, winter, summer, fall, like, nature changes. You go from place to place, not just throughout Hogwarts, but throughout the whole Harry Potter world. There's so many places to discover, so many places to go. It looks like it's giving you the option to either be good or to be bad. So that means there could be different story outcomes by the end of the game, meaning you might have different ways to play the game, different endings, meaning that you'll be able to play well over probably 100 hours easily within a couple playthroughs, maybe even one playthrough for all I know. Who knows? I don't know everything about it because I stopped looking at trailers and stuff, because I've been sold on the game for a while now already. So I can't wait to see to play this game. Like, there's so many characters and lore and aspects in this game, and it's a prequel to the Harry Potter movies. It takes place, I don't remember how long before, but I do know that this game technically is a prequel. Whether it's canon or not, I have no clue, but that doesn't really matter. You get to customize your character. You get to, like, build your own hut and stuff, I believe. Probably have your own pets. There's just every single aspect of Harry Potter. Although I don't know if Quidditch is in here. I know you can ride a broom around, but I don't know if Quidditch is in the game or not. And if it is, obviously this is a single player experience. Whether they would add on to that in an expansion later to do like a Quidditch multiplayer mode or something would be cool. But this is meant to be a single player experience. And I believe that this game is going to be something fantastic and really great. And I am really looking forward to this game, because they already got me sold on it. So I really hope it does not disappoint me. Next up, I want to talk about Star Wars. We got Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out in March. This is the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And I loved that game. I played it twice all the way through. Played the living heck out of that game. I played Jedi Fallen Order again, actually last year, I believe it was, because I thought the sequel was coming out this year, but it turns out it did not, and it's coming out early next year in March. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the combat and everything, the story, the characters. Cal as a character, I think he's wonderful. I'd love to see him in live action form as well. I'm curious where they're going to go with the story, especially now that Vader has seen his face and knows who he is. Whether Cal dies or not, we don't know yet, because we don't know how far his canon story will go, and if he will ever be live action in some kind of way, if he's one of the Jedis that truly will continue to survive past Order 66, as he did survive Order 66 as a kid, as we know. And I just can't wait to see where it goes, and I want to see the combat advance, you know, because the combat was great in the last game, but I think that with a sequel, you always got to go bigger and better. And that's what I'm expecting from this game. A better story, even better combat, bigger things happening, more cameo appearances from, like, the shows or movies or whatever. So many more things, especially considering this is a canon storyline to Star Wars. So Yeah, really excited for that and can't wait to see more and to experience the game in March. Now, another game that's coming out just a couple weeks after Jedi Survivor, or a couple weeks before, I have to look up the release dates, there's too many games coming out, is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, I just played Resident Evil 4 for the very first time all the way through. I played it as a kid, I did, but I never finished Resident Evil 4 ever in my life, all the way from beginning to end. I played it from beginning to end back in like April of this year, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I don't know if it's my favorite Resident Evil because I really, really love Resident Evil 2 Remake a lot, but Resident Evil 4 is definitely up there. Peak Resident Evil, absolute peak. And this remake, as of right now, as long as they don't change really anything from the story, obviously they changed some character designs and certain things, and that's fine. Added new cutscenes and stuff for different characters and stuff, which is what we expected, which is great. The combat is looking great. So I have really high expectations for this because the people behind the Resident Evil 2 remake are the people behind the Resident Evil 4 remake, not the team behind the Resident Evil 3 remake, thank goodness, because 3, they cut some stuff out and it was kind of disappointing of a game, not gonna lie. I haven't even played it a second time still, because it just wasn't as fun as 2 remake. Maybe I'll get around to replaying it one day, I don't know. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 remake is looking really good. Can't wait to play Leon again. I love that character. I love the characters in general in Resident Evil 4, and for the remake to outdo the original is going to be really, really tough. But considering the 2 remake people are behind it, I think there's good potential here for it to be even better than the original, or maybe it'll just be just as good, you know, or something, because the original, a lot of people said it didn't really need a remake, which I can agree with that. You know, the remake, it doesn't necessarily need a remake because it's had so many remasters, and 4 is just such a fantastic game to play still for Resident Evil. I just don't, there was never a necessary reason for 4 to get a remake, but I'm still happy that they're doing it. Okay, so the next one that I want to talk about would be Dead Island 2. This was originally supposed to come out in February of this year, and it was delayed to April of 2023. I said this year, I meant 2023. But this is a game we've waited almost a decade for. It was announced like 8 years ago, I want to say, and it's been in development hell for ages now. And this is a game that oh man, all the fans have been waiting so many years for this game to come out that they trolled us hard with Goat Simulator 3. That was at Summer Game Fest. Goat Simulator 3 really, it trolled me good. Like, that, you know, if you've seen the video, Goat Simulator 3 got me good because I really, because it showed him on a beach and said don't get bitten. So it was like, okay, this is gonna be Dead Island 2, and it wasn't. But Goat Simulator 3 already came out, and now, and Dead Island 2 was official not very long after Summer Game Fest happened, and that was really cool. And I'm okay that it was delayed because it was supposed to come out just a week before Hogwarts Legacy, which is not exactly great because both are open world games and are gonna take a lot of hours out of us to play and finish. Because they both look really fun and a lot to them. But I like the gameplay so far that I've seen for Dead Island 2. I'm kind of finished watching new stuff on it because I've watched enough on it. I'm already sold on it. Ready to get it day one. Combat looks great. Looks like they took some aspects from Dying Light for sure for Dead Island 2, which I think is great because Dying Light does have really good combat. The only downside is I have a feeling, just like the rest of their games, the story might end up being weak. But to be honest, I would rather take really great gameplay over a weaker story, like over a great story. But if you can get the best of both worlds, that's awesome. But this company, their stories tend to be a little bit weaker usually, but I can accept a little bit of a weaker story for amazing, fun, fantastic gameplay, great music, great combat, you name it, all that in there, and uniquely fun, just a great experience overall. So yeah, Dead Island 2, cannot wait. If it's delayed again, then it's delayed again. These are not all guaranteed to come out this year, but I think I do believe that it will. It's just, if it were to get delayed, it'd be a couple more months or something. Delay it as much as you need to, so we can experience Dead Island 2 the way it should be played, and for it to really look up to the expectations we waited so many years for. Now, the next game I'm going to talk about is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Man, for some reason, something in my head's telling me it could be delayed again, but it's not coming out until May, so it might come out in May. It might. But this might be, it's like neck and neck with another game for my most anticipated game of 2023, because I love Breath of the Wild a lot and played well over 100 hours of that game. Some people played way more, but yeah, Breath of the Wild was really fantastic game. It won Game of the Year in 2017, and I think its sequel has the potential to also win Game of the Year of 2023. And we've waited a while for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's sequel to come around, and I think it's going to pay off. I really do think that it's going to pay off, although I do think we do need a new Switch. I think we need better hardware. I really do. I wish that I could be hopeful that Tears of the Kingdom could drop with a brand new Switch with newer, better technology, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for that because I feel like that's probably not going to happen. I have a feeling new technology won't come around until 2024. That's just my opinion. But that being said, the game is still going to look gorgeous, beautiful, and wonderful on the Nintendo Switch regardless, because it's been delayed many times. The Zelda team cares. They really care about their fans and their franchise. And you can tell because the quality we got from Breath of the Wild. And we have gotten a Zelda game here or there between there. But Tears of the Kingdom definitely has been their priority. I don't know what else to say on it other than the fact that the only things that worry me is the world being the same world, that it's too similar to Breath of the Wild. But we do have the sky area now as well. And I also hope that the dungeons are a little bit better than they were in Breath of the Wild, which is also kind of a gripe I had with Breath of the Wild. I had some gripes with Breath of the Wild. Some people don't. Some people say it's perfect, best game ever. And that's fine. But I just cannot wait for Tears of the Kingdom. Regardless, I'm getting it day one because it is Zelda. And I'm a big Zelda fan, and as you can tell. And I have waited patiently for this game. Time does go quick because there's plenty of other games and entertainment out there to keep you busy. But when you're super excited for something like this that you've waited years for, yeah, another big open world game, but the last one was great, so I'm quite sure that this one is going to hopefully succeed and be just as amazing as the last game was. Now, next up, I want to mention Street Fighter 6, which, man, I'm excited for this game. Like, I when it comes to fighting games, I don't tend to play like hours and hours and hours and hours, depending. Like Smash, yes, I played many hours. Mortal Kombat 11, I played many hours. But sometimes it depends. I believe Street Fighter 6 could be one of those games for me where I play a ton of hours. Between not just it having really good online, having rollback netcode, having really great colorful graphics and very smooth, solid gameplay, and really good. People who have played the closed beta tests are really loving this game. And from what I'm hearing, it has the potential to be the best Street Fighter ever, if not neck and neck with whatever the other best ones were that they made. My knowledge with them isn't that the best, but I did enjoy Street Fighter V, but not as much as I wished. Plus, its gameplay was a little bit more complicated, and I definitely can tell with this one that they are making it a little more easier for casual fans for the button inputs and stuff to be able to play how they want to play, whether you're using an arcade stick or a controller. And just graphically, it's looking great. Plus, not to mention, there's an actual good story mode probably this time. You get to create your own character, customize your own character, train them up, build them up. There's tons of different mini games and stuff in there. They have a battle hub, like Dragon Ball Xenoverse and some other games that have battle hubs where you can see everyone's crazy, wacky looking characters and stuff with different modes to go through, and the online battles and rank battles and you name it. There's all kinds of stuff in there with Street Fighter 6, and I think that Street Fighter 6 really, it looks so good. It looks so fantastic. And from what I've heard from a lot of people that aren't normally like really super huge on fighting games, are really excited to play Street Fighter 6 because it just looks like something that is not only the core audience of Street Fighter, but the casual audience of fighting game fans and Street Fighter fans are, it's bringing them in as well. It's bringing in a lot of people to play Street Fighter again, which I think is amazing. And that's great that Capcom is doing much better than they did with Street Fighter V, because Street Fighter V, when it came out, it took years for that game to get better. Now, next up on my most anticipated games of the year is Final Fantasy 16. Now, Final Fantasy 15, I have played it twice. I played it on the Xbox and I played it on the PS5. And on the PS5, I did Platinum Trophy it. I really do enjoy the game. I feel like Final Fantasy 15 gets a little bit more hate than it deserves. But maybe that's from like the core audience of Final Fantasy, because me personally, aside from Final Fantasy 7, a tad bit of 8, all the and Final Fantasy 10, all the like older Final Fantasies, I never was big into, never really got into. Whether I will or not, I don't really know, because turn-based combat isn't always for me. Plus, it can be a lot more difficult, and I'm not very good at those kind of games. But I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love it, love it, love it. I loved Crisis Core. Played Crisis Core Reunion recently and finished that. Absolutely loved that game as well. And I really enjoyed 15. I thought 15 was a really fun game, but I guess 16 is going back to kind of their roots of like the lore and the era. I should say the era that 16 is in. Again, I don't have much knowledge on the older Final Fantasy stuff, so I don't really know. But I'm really excited for Final Fantasy 16. The combat's looking fluid. The combat's looking amazing. The story looks like it's going to be something awesome and epic and great, of epic scale. And it's going to be open world like 15 was, I'm pretty sure, with tons of side quests to do and side missions to do and so many different things to do. I'm just so excited to play Final Fantasy 16. I can't wait. I mean, June is going to be a crazy month. That's for sure. But Final Fantasy 16 looks fantastic. Let me know if you're a Final Fantasy fan. Let me know what you think of Final Fantasy 16, because I personally cannot wait to play this game. Now, next up is my final most anticipated, and then I'll get into some honorable mentions. My final most anticipated game of the year is the one that is actually neck and neck with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for me, and that is Spider-Man 2. Man, I love Spider-Man 2018. I love that game so much. Its combat, its gameplay is just so fantastic. Its story is so fantastic. Everything about Spider-Man 2018 is perfect. I don't know how else to express, like, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you love it. You just love it. And Miles Morales as well. Yes, it is a shorter game, but Miles Morales was also a brilliant game and a perfect launch title for the PlayStation 5. It was an absolute perfect launch title. And Spider-Man 2 is going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive. Just so anyone's aware that did not know that, it will not be on the PlayStation 4. They are finally starting to get along with just using current technology and not previous technology to hold games back, which, listen, we've been in this current gen era for 2 years now. It's no longer next gen, it's current gen. If you say you don't have access to you can't get a console, you can. Because I have a PS5 and Series X. And I got my PS5 within the first 2 weeks, I think? Yeah, it was hard work. The Series X I got a year later. But you can get them a little easier now, because I see PS5s in the stores now all the time. I've seen Series X's in person. Like, you can get these consoles, and if you have to get it online, get it online. There's people on Twitter that can help you get one, such as Wario64, and there's some other people, you know. If you don't have a console and you want a console, they'll help you out. There's people that'll help you out. But anyways, back to the game. I finished Spider-Man and Miles Morales both 3 times. Love every minute of those games. They are absolutely brilliant and fantastic, and I cannot wait for Spider-Man 2. I have a buddy who's played Spider-Man and Miles, or at least Spider-Man, like twice as many times as me, probably. Because that just goes to show that it's a perfect game, you know? Especially if Spider-Man's your favorite superhero. Like, the Spider-Man game and Miles Morales are truly fantastic, beautiful games, and I have no complaints with them. I really don't. I mean, both of them to me are 10 out of 10 masterpieces. Like, sure, you could gripe that Miles is a little shorter, but it wasn't meant to be a long game. It was basically like the Uncharted spin-off game, because that game was shorter, and that's what we expected from Miles Morales, for it to not to be quite as long, and it wasn't, and it worked. It was just perfect. And I cannot wait to see with Spider-Man 2 how the gameplay is going to be between Miles and Peter, and see how Venom is in the game. Who knows? Venom could be playable at some point. I mean, I don't think it will happen. I don't think Venom's going to be playable at all in the game. I'd love if Insomniac decided to do a Venom game one day, but that would probably be later down the line as well. I feel like, because they got Wolverine that they're working on as well after Spider-Man 2. But yeah, that's going to do it for the most anticipated games list. Now, I do have a few honorable mentions that I absolutely have to mention that are coming out next year. And first up would be Forspoken. The game comes out just in January. It's the first game coming out next year. Cannot wait to check that out. I checked out the demo. I did enjoy the demo more than I was expecting, so I will get the game when it comes out, and I hope that it's great. I really hope that it's a really enjoyable game. I hope that the story's great, because if the story's weak and the gameplay's good, I'll be disappointed, because I feel like it's one of those open world games that's really anticipated. Another that I absolutely have to mention comes out in May, and that is Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. This is Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman. So this is a big deal to a lot of fans, especially Batman, just people who are Batman fans in general. This game is a really big deal because it's Kevin Conroy's final performance as Batman, and it's confirmed that it is the Batman from the Arkham series games, which I think that's really, really awesome that we get to see that Batman one last time, you know. But I think the gameplay was looking pretty fun from what they had shown before. They've been showing a lot of CGI trailers with less gameplay recently, but we'll get more on it soon, and I think it looks like a lot of fun, especially for a single-player game. I think it's going to play a little bit similar to like Guardians of the Galaxy, the way that played, except you'll be able to play as all the characters instead of just one, which is completely fine, you know. I think that Guardians of the Galaxy was great, and I think that Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League will probably play a little bit similar as well, and I think that it'll be really fun and probably be a great game. Now, I have two more honorable mentions that I'm going to mention real quick. One is Starfield. Now, it's not on my most anticipated, but it's going to be on Game Pass, so I'm definitely going to check it out. And it's not anticipated because it's Bethesda, and I worry when it comes to their games, even if Microsoft owns them now, so things might be a little bit different, a little bit better now. It's just, they have a lot of bugs in their games. Sometimes they're for the better in the long run, like Skyrim, but it depends. And the fact that the game has like 8,000 planets or whatever is like, what? Huh? There might be a lot of empty planets. I don't know. It's basically No Man's Sky meets Fallout is the basic concept of Starfield. And I think that it has potential to be great, but it also has potential to fall flat. Because I feel like the story is going to probably be pretty bland and not that great, you know. Typical Bethesda for the most part. Gameplay, I do think it's just going to be a mixture of No Man's Sky meets Fallout. But because it's going to be on Game Pass, I'm going to check it out. And that's why I had to put it in honorable mentions, because it could be something that's actually kind of fun. Now, I just have one more final game to put in honorable mentions, and that is 100% Diablo 4. It's not in my most anticipated. I do like Diablo. It's great, but it's not one of my most anticipated games of the year. Even if it's open world, even if I'm super excited and all that, I'm going to put it just in honorable mentions, because as a Diablo fan, I am looking forward to it, but I haven't been a Diablo fan like forever and stuff, for years and ages and stuff. So it's something I'm looking forward to. The trailers look great. I have heard good things, nothing but good things on people who have played the game for hours, people who have put some time into it, that were able to play it early and were allowed access to play it early for a long time. And I'm hearing good things on it, so that's good. I hope that the microtransactions are not something like Diablo Immortal, because that would be not exactly good. But I don't think it's going to be quite like that. I feel like that was a separate thing, and it's Diablo 4. Like, they understand fans have waited a decade for this. Like, and it's going to be fully open world, and all the different classes and stuff, you know, such as the previous game and such. There's just going to be a lot to it, and it's going to be a really, really big game. And the amount of hours that you can sink into it's going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely nuts, and I'm a little bit disappointed that it comes out the same week as Street Fighter 6, and then just a couple weeks after Diablo 4 is Final Fantasy 16, and just before Street Fighter 6 is Suicide Squad Kills Justice League. So I don't even know, and I don't know how I'm going to sink enough hours into these games between work and life outside of video games and YouTube and stuff. So yeah, that's gonna actually do it for my list of most anticipated games of the year, plus the honorable mentions. There's so many games coming out next year. I'm really excited. Can't wait to play all these different games. Also, there was only one Nintendo game in here. I don't know what else is coming out next year for Nintendo right now, to be honest, outside of a Mario Kart expansion, the last one or whatever. So I don't know what Nintendo's really doing yet, but we'll find out. I hope Metroid Prime 4 comes around soon, or at least a teaser of some kind again. I don't know. I have no idea. We don't know. Or even a new Mario game. Who knows? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And just thank you so much. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Later.